This is Edward October, host of Octoberpod on YouTube. Hear that jingle jingle? It could be Kris Kringle, or a home invader looking for an open window, a jilted lover looking for revenge, or a disgruntled coworker hoping to spike your eggnog with arsenic. The girls of our true crime podcast are always on Santa's nice list, but the crimes they discuss are very naughty indeed. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, Jen.
Hey, Cam, how are you?
I'm pretty good. You know what today is?
Today is Saturday.
It is day 9. Day 9 of our 12 Nightmares Before Christmas.
Woohoo!
We only have, 3 more? Is that right? 9, 10, 11, 12. 4 more, counting this one.
Yep. Can you believe it?
No. No, I cannot. I can't believe we pulled it together again.
Well,
And,
we're not done yet.
That is true.
That is true. But we won't
That's
fail
funny.
you. Anyway, yeah, it's challenging to do this year, isn't it?
It is. It's
Yeah.
just been, the world is weird right now. Let's just put it that way, right?
It is.
It's just, I don't even know. It's weird. Let's put it that way.
It's imploding. But anyway, let's get back to something happier like murder.
Like murder. And before we kick this off, I just want to say that I don't know if you know this, but I am not from Japan.
No way.
These people are, and I know I'm going to mess up names. I apologize, but
Woof,
you
woof.
know, there you go. I don't know what to say. I mean, I try. That's all I'm going to say about that. But really, it's the story that's important, more so than
You will
know.
try your best, is what you're trying to say,
Yes,
correct?
yes,
You
that-
will try
yes,
your
that
best
is-
to pronounce the names that
Yes.
are of not our native tongue.
correct.
Yes.
I can barely command the English language. So
Same
there's that.
girl. I understand,
Yep.
and I'm assuming that all of our listeners will understand also.
They probably already know that. So
Or
not
they're
telling them
already-
nothing they didn't already know.
Or they're already writing a review about how we are mispronouncing everything. So
That's true. But, you know, hey. So are you ready to go? This is really a sad. It's sad. It is. They're all sad.
But this one hit you harder than most.
Well, this deals with suicide, so let's put that up at the top.
Trigger warning.
Suicidal thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, put it that way. And I'm not going to say it. I was going to say some jackhole that preyed on these people, but we're gonna get to that. So here we go. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So day 9, and we are boarding a plane, Jen. I wish we could fly in today's world, but we can't because, you know, Corona.
Well, you can, but yeah.
Safely, without worry.
It's best to stay home unless you absolutely positively have to get there.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we're boarding a plane, and we are going to Zama City. Now, that's located in Japan. It's actually a suburb of Tokyo and happens to be home to the United States Camp Zama Army Base, FYI.
Awesome.
So maybe one of our listeners have somebody stationed over there. So that's where we're going today.
Just a little side note, Japan is in one of my top countries that I want to visit before I die.
So the story begins with 2 investigators from and this is a juicy name, I love it, Metropolitan Police Department's Personal Safety Related Case Comprehensive Countermeasures Headquarters and Takahiro Station.
Wow.
That's the name of the police. That's pretty good, right?
Short and concise. I like that.
Right? So this unit would usually deal with stalking and stalking issues, but today, on this one, they had a much different case in October of 2017. A report had come in about a missing woman who was supposed to meet a man she was speaking to on Twitter, and she had not been seen since leaving to meet with him.
Mm.
Police approach the apartment, and after a knock on the door, a young man answers. When asked if he knew where she may be, he replied that he didn't know. Now, an astute investigator looked beyond the young man, and he noticed a woman's purse in the apartment. The investigators didn't have to pressure him for too long about the whereabouts of a missing 23-year-old woman. when he calmly pointed to a freezer and simply said, "In there." What the investigators could not yet know was just how many bodies they would soon discover.
Lord.
Oh, well, this is terrible. Oof.
Just as a bad, tacky joke, who's got room in their freezer for that?
Oh, he does, because he keeps coolers and stuff.
Oh, Lord.
The 27-year-old man who lived at this apartment was named Takahiro Shiraishi. I think that's how you say it. Oh, I'm going to go with that, but we're going to go with Takahiro from here on out. By all accounts, the man seemed to have a pretty normal upbringing. Neighbors would say they remembered him as a quiet child, but not shy, and, he was willing to talk to people who talked to him. As a student, he was attentive with mediocre grades. Same, buddy, same. He liked sports, especially baseball, and his classmates said he tended to rarely talk about himself, but would always be ready to lend an ear to a friend or an acquaintance. After graduating from high school in 2009, Takahiro got a full-time job at a supermarket, but quit just over 2 years later. He also tried working in and I hope I'm saying this right, I'm telling you, problems, pachinko parlor. So, of course, I go look this up, and then I got all enthralled with this. It is sort of like a mix between pinball and slot machines, like a casino where they have rows and rows of these seats, and these people are sitting there playing them, and there's all these, like, balls, like, like a pinball. Is that a pinball? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Shut up, Jennifer.
I'm sorry.
Moving on.
Lack of sleep.
I got you.
Oh, it's an old-fashioned game. Yeah. I see these sometimes at estate sales.
Oh, okay.
I know exactly what it is.
In general, the man liked to keep a pretty low profile. Now, after leaving the supermarket job, he began to work, and this is odd to me, but okay, as a scout for sex parlors in Kabukicho, which is one of Tokyo's biggest red light districts, okay? Sorry if I butchered that name again. I'm sorry.
So he would, go out and grab people to come in?
Almost like, yes, like he would go to get them. Here, hold on. We'll get to that. But
okay.
That's what he would do. He would go and try to get these girls to basically become a prostitute.
Oh, he would recruit them, not customers. Yes. He would recruit the actual workers, not
Yeah, he was a scout.
The customer.
So he was looking for the ladies. Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was trying to get you come on in here. Come in. Come see my girls. Okay.
So working in the Tokyo's biggest red light district, I also looked this up, which was interesting. So if anybody out there wants to do that, he did this, and he was seeking to lure young women into working in the clubs there, right? And then eventually, often, they would end up being a prostitute. Now, he came up with the idea of joining Twitter, establishing a Twitter account to meet women that he could lure into meeting him and then get them into prostitution. This was his game plan. That's what he was using Twitter for.
So he's doing slavery, basically.
Pretty much, yep. Now, his reputation was being noticed in and among the area, with many of the women and men sharing photos of him, calling him a, quote, creepy scout and watch out for the scout, right? So he was his reputation was getting out there. People kind of knew that he was a little shady and to kind of watch out for him, right? So in February 2017, he was arrested, and he eventually was given a suspended jail sentence for recruiting a young woman for a sex shop in full knowledge that she would end up being pressed or pressured into prostitution. So he did get in trouble for that in February 2017. In June, things began to get worse for him. His parents would get divorced, and his mom and sister would move out. Now, at this point, he was struggling mentally, and he, in fact, told his father, with whom he was close, "I don't know why I'm alive." All right. So he was starting to have some pretty deep feelings of desperation. So in August, when he told his father that he had met the love of his life and he wanted to move out on his own, but he needed his dad's help, his dad was ecstatic and agreed to help him out. He moved into a one-room apartment in Zama, and his father would end up being the co-signer for him to ensure that, the people got payment, right? Now, out on his own, his devious plan would come to light. Just as he had once used Twitter to recruit women into prostitution, he would once again use it to recruit his victims. But these victims would not survive. He knew he needed to pick out someone who was weak, struggling, and looking to end their suffering. He opened 2 separate accounts with the taglines, "I want to die," and the second, "A professional at hanging." Under the first account of "I want to die," He played the role of a suicidal person who was looking for another suicidal person, posting comments such as, "I just want to forget everything," and "I want to disappear." His second account went a step further as he played the role of a person who was able to assist you with your wish of dying and eliminating your pain, commenting things like, "I want to spread my knowledge and hanging," and "I really want to become the source of strength for everyone who is in pain," and "If you are at a dead end, please consult me." He would use the hashtag suicide recruitment and encourage them to send him direct messages like, "Let's die together." So he's preying on
And this is all on Twitter?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just wait and we'll get there. So he worked hard to make sure his plan was solid. After making a date to meet up with these women, he would even travel to their home to meet them and then travel back to his apartment because he wanted to make sure that they wouldn't change their mind, right? He was having it come off like he's a gentleman. "I'm going to come to you. I'm going to get you. Then we're going to come back to my place." But that was not the truth. The truth was he did not want them to back out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once they arrived to his apartment, he plied them with alcohol and sleeping pills before sexually assaulting them. His first victim was killed in August, and he told police, "It was difficult at first. It took me 3 days to get rid of the first body, but after that I could deal with them within 1 day." His killing continued with 4 in September and 4 in October. He said he killed most of the people actually the same day that he met them. 8 of the 9 victims were all women. The only male, aged 20, was actually the boyfriend of one of the victims who he went looking for. How, right? His girlfriend went missing.
Right.
And so he went looking for her, and then I guess
Now, these are all
scared.
the people that wanted to kill themselves, correct? And then he came out
That's
and
what he
killed
plied
them?
on. Yes, except
Okay.
for that one male.
Except
the one
for the
male
guy.
that was actually looking
boyfriend.
for the boyfriend, yes. The youngest victim was just 15 years old. Now, he's alleged to have choked his victims, whose real names and ages he claims he did not even know. And then he would dismember their bodies. He said, "I disposed of their flesh and internal organs like garbage, but I kept their bones out of fear I would be caught." Police would find 3 cooler boxes and 5 large storage boxes in his apartment. They checked the 8 boxes and found body parts, including heads, legs, and arms, in 7 of those boxes. All in all, there were 240 bones found. And this is, I don't even know. He used cat litter to try to mask the smell, as if that would do it, right?
No, not very well.
So at his apartment, police also recovered 2 kitchen knives, scissors, a saw, binding rope, and a glass, all with traces of blood on them. Now, neighbors, good old neighbors, you know how they are. Neighbors would say they never suspected or witnessed anything odd or strange, but there was always an odor near his apartment. Oh, and this just made me laugh, and it's not funny, but they also added that he always left his bathroom fan on 24 hours a day.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. You would think bodies have a certain odor when they're...
Right. And this was a lot of bodies in a small amount of time. So it's not like one goes away and, you know what I mean? Like, this is,
You would
2
think,
months.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yes, everybody was just being polite and not saying anything. He might have been having some kind of digestive tract problem.
Right. 24 hours a day, though.
The bathroom light or the bathroom fan was always on.
Now, in hindsight, there was one neighbor, and I'm only laughing because, like, I don't know.
You're not laughing at the case.
No,
You're laughing.
No. So this neighbor came forward, and he said, "You know, in hindsight, I did notice just how many times he used the trash chute, because he was actually using the trash chute to dispose of the human organs, the body tissue, right? Because he kept the bones because he was afraid that it'd identify him. Not funny. I mean,
No.
It's weird, right? Like, if you're not wanting to get caught, but the guy's using the trash chute." Takahiro was charged with robbery, forced sexual intercourse, and murder. He would later stand in court and state that, in fact, he did do all these heinous things, claiming his motives had always been sex and money. I don't know where he really got the money for, but okay. His lawyers would argue that all the victims wanted to die, and therefore the charges should be reduced to murder with consent, which carries a sentence of 6 months to 7 years, a much lighter sentence than the death of hanging.
So there is actually a law or a thing in Japan that you could murder or kill somebody with consent?
I guess so. Euthanasia. Yep.
Yeah. No. Okay. That's weird. I mean, I'm for it if it comes with terminal illness. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just because you're wanting to commit suicide and no. Okay. All right. Never mind. My opinions don't matter. That's their law.
It matters very much, Jen.
But I'm just saying, I just...
Well, that, and this all got me thinking that if these people really wanted to die, there's two cases I can think of. There's the one case of the guy that wanted to be eaten. He wanted to eaten, right? Mm-hmm. No, he wanted to eat somebody, right? And then there's another case I know of that the guy just wanted to die. He had some financial problems. He wanted to die. So he befriended all these younger kids. I think he was like in his late 30s, early 40s. And he befriended all these young kids that were like 16 and 17. And he kind of got in good with them and provided them with, drugs, liquor and stuff like that. And they found his body buried under sand on the beach. And it turned out that the 17-year-old kid did it. And the 17-year-old was like, he would not leave me alone. He wanted me to kill him. And I was like, So that got me thinking about this case, got me thinking about those,
I think there was another case, too. I think there was a woman who wanted to be dominated and murdered. And so she started speaking with somebody online. I don't remember that case. Like, I vaguely remember it. What's the difference of the laws, like, between murder? You said the
one is death by hanging. Mm-hmm. That's what the prosecutor was going for. And his lawyers are saying murder with consent. And that's 6 months to 7 years. So
it's a big difference.
A huge difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back to the case.
Okay.
So obviously this case drew a lot of attention over there in Tokyo. When it finally was getting ready to, I guess, the trial start, they had a line of over 600 people waiting for just 13 gallery seats to watch the first hearing.
Can understand that.
It's bizarre, though. All right, here's another little side note for you. So, and I'm gonna get names wrong. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
And I just want to make sure everybody knows that Camille and I barely understand the United States legal system, so there's pretty much no way in hell that we would understand any other country's legal system. So
Thank you. In Japan, suicide borders on a crisis level, though the government has been active in intervention to decrease the risk of suicide among vulnerable populations. It is the leading cause of death in men among the ages of 20 to 44 and women among the ages of 15 to 34. That statistic was quite shocking for me. That is like the core of the younger population,
right,
and it's the number one cause. Japanese men are twice as likely to commit suicide as their female counterparts, particularly after a divorce. Of particular concern is suicide among men who have recently lost their jobs and are no longer able to provide for their families. People are expected to stay married with a single person and stay on a single job for their entire life. And the pressure of this expectation can make a divorce or a job loss feel like failure. Okinawa Forest is located at the base of Japan's Mount Fuji, and it is a hotspot for suicides, as hundreds of people go there each year to end their lives. Police regularly patrol the area for suicide victims and survivors. Thank you, worldpopulationreview.com. I got those last two paragraphs from there. If you go and you Google this, it's just disturbing. It's on a lot of websites about, oddities and strange things.
It's a beautiful forest.
It is beautiful.
It really is. But I mean, you can even feel how odd it is to be there. And I don't know if it's only because I know the reputation of it, but you get I get a strange feeling looking.
It's eerie.
It's eerie.
Plus, you know what it is, you know?
Right.
Now, Jen, due to this case, Twitter made a change to policies as well as amending its rules to state users should not promote or encourage suicide or self-harm. Twitter's chief executive, Jack Dorsey, who's from St. Louis, by the way, said at the time the case was extremely sad. And finally, before we end this episode, a huge high five to the man that helped catch this murderer. Now, here's how this unfolded. It was actually Twitter, or rather online investigating, that caught this guy. You see, his ninth victim was a 23-year-old woman from a suburb of Tokyo. Her brother was worried about her, and he actually hacked into her Twitter account, and he found this guy's name and some correspondences that went on between his sister and Takahiro. So the brother was able to locate another woman through all this who had met Takahiro before, and they started talking. So they went to the police and told the police all about what they had found and what his suspicions were about his missing sister. The police asked the woman to set up a meeting with Takahiro, and police would follow them to his apartment. And so on October 30th, that's what happened. That's what they did. They followed him to his apartment, and that's where this case began. That's where I started this, with the knock on the door at the top. He was very forthcoming about the coolers he kept in his house, and he claims it wasn't for like trophies. He just didn't want to get caught. So he kept the bones thinking that they would be able to, I guess, track it through DNA and such like that to get back to him. So he is serving his life away in jail. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Over there, he was found guilty.
You know, I'm kind of shocked that Twitter let that go on for so long.
For that long? And this wasn't that long ago, 2017.
I mean, I know
not that long
they're
ago.
very slow at responding, but you would think that they wouldn't have.
And just to prey on them, you know, and that he needed somebody that was desperate, right? And he needed somebody that he knew would go with him easily and not give him a lot of,
but you would just think that
a lot of trouble.
I would think that Twitter would prioritize murder and sex slavery. Who am I? I'm just some mom in the Midwest that knows absolutely nothing. I even had to look up what a dab pin was today. I had no idea what a dab pin was.
Are you kidding me right now? I could have told you what that was.
Well, you work with kids. My kids don't talk about that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's old, man. That's old news. That's like...
Yeah, but that's not in my... I can tell you about crack cocaine, but not that I've ever done that, by the way. I just, you know...
So, Jen, actually, he is sitting in jail right now, and the courts are supposed to make... He pled guilty to all 9. He was very forthcoming about it. In fact, his lawyers kind of, like I said earlier, wanted to fight that, and he was, I did it. You can't say that I did that. Like, he actually contradicted his lawyers. But he is sitting in prison right now, and on December 15th of this year, so in, 3 days, they're supposed to announce his sentencing. And
well, it's actually, by the time this airs, it'll already be, he will be sentenced, so.
Unless they, you know, move that, which happens all the time. But I will let you know. I'll stay on that and let you know.
Wow. Interesting. What a strange case. I mean, seriously.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think a lot of, there's, like I said, there wasn't a whole lot on it, but.
For the Americans, maybe.
No, yeah, exactly. Well, even there was Japanese papers in there, and I, you know, converted them to English so I could read it. But I think a lot of other countries too, and maybe I'm wrong. If you're listening in Japan or somewhere, let me know. You know, Americans are very bloodthirsty, and they always, you know, that would definitely be a leading story that would be the lead on the news for the next 4 months. Totally.
Oh, 4 months? No, there'd be movies. There'd be years. We're still talking about Dahmer. Yeah. Look at Gacy. I mean, yeah.
And these, I think they're a little bit more quiet about stuff like that.
The United States, they'd be selling his freezer.
Oh, totally. And T-shirts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Come on. Yeah, totally. All right, Jen, that does it for the 9th day of Christmas. Wow. You got anything to add? You got anything else to say?
No, it was short and sweet.
It was short and sweet, like I said.
How are your Christmas, or your holiday, I should say, preparations going?
They're going pretty good. I'm wrapping presents as I get them because it just makes me a little happy, I think. I will be honest, Jen, there's not one decoration on that tree, and I kind of like it that way.
Yeah, makes it easier to take it down.
Well, and the closer I get to the day it comes down, I keep thinking, why put stuff up? Right. So I really have to make myself do that today, I think.
Yeah.
This is recorded much earlier. Today is the 12th of December, by the way. So I'm not that bad, like, because this would be the 9th, so it would be the 20th or something, right? I'm not that bad.
Yeah. No, we still are getting presents or gifts delivered to us. I haven't even gone shopping, like, to the mall to get, like, the little stuff that we normally do.
Mm-hmm.
But our tree is up. We had fun. We had Alexa play all the Christmas music, and then everybody had their favorite Christmas song played.
That's cute.
Yeah,
Aww.
It was kind of fun to see. One of the girls likes Dominic the Donkey, which I love. Do you know that song?
No.
The Christmas donkey song?
No, never heard of it.
It's Italian.
Sing it.
And it's like hee-haw, 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 hee-haw. It's Dominic the Donkey or something like that. I mean, it's the Christmas donkey. It's fun. I think it's
That
50s or
sounds
60s
super
song.
fun.
It is. It's just, and it's different. The other one likes Jingle Bell Rock, of course.
Yeah.
I don't remember what my
What about
husband
I Want a
was.
Hippopotamus for Christmas? I'd figure one of you girls would like that.
No. I like Fairy Tale in New York.
You do?
I do. Not a big Pogues fan, although we did see them in St. Louis. Remember when they came to St. Louis in the 90s?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. That's a blur. Due to all my drug use. Just kidding. No, I don't remember that. I remember did we go with Rodney?
We may have.
Yeah.
I want to do a new cookie that I found on Reddit.
Does it have THC in it?
No, it does
That's
not.
Mama's favorite Christmas.
It's Mama's helper. No, this guy found out that the house he lived in, there was a murder in this house. A woman was murdered. And then Christmas. All of a sudden afterwards, the husband and children moved away. It was never solved. My bet is it was the husband. It usually is. But anyway, as he was digging into this murder mystery, he found out that the couple owned a bakery.
Oh.
Looking into the bakery, he discovered that their #1 award-winning recipe was for something called Scotch cookies, which is made with molasses. But anyway, Reddit people...
They didn't make meat pie or anything, did they?
No.
Okay.
So anyway, the Reddit people started calling them murder cookies. So my husband loves molasses cookies. And there's a really good cookie that's made by Dad's here in St. Louis called Scotch oatmeal cookies that are like heaven. And I'm hoping they're going to be kind of like those cookies. But I want to try to make those to see if they're any good. People that have tried this recipe has said they're yummy. So just curious to try them out.
Good to know. Well, you can put that in my little to-go bag.
And your to-go bag too? Mm-hmm. And I also am going to try to make hot chocolate bombs.
I've seen those. Those are like all the rage.
Yeah.
I got a question though. I have lots of questions, but how do you get the ball? Do you make like a chocolate mold and then like melt it together?
Well, I actually have molds. Yeah. And then of like the half spheres.
Yeah.
And then you take 2 spheres and then you take like a hot knife maybe or like a hot plate and then you dip one of the spheres after it's like still frozen and you kind of barely melt
it to make them
stick them together. Yeah.
Okay, you put that in my bag too. That'd be great.
Okay. I'm just going to try it. I don't know if it's going to work, but you put like a little with the chocolate and then you put a little bit of cocoa mix and then you put some marshmallows in it.
I bet it'd be fun to watch it explode.
Yeah. Well, not explode, but it slowly melts or you can stir it and we're going to try it. My daughters have been on a hot cocoa kick lately,
Me
so
too.
I just thought that would be kind of fun to do.
Me too.
And since my kitchen is already a disaster, why not just add more crap onto it?
Might just do everything and then clean it. That's what I say.
So I'm going to try that.
That sounds exciting, Jen. That sounds really exciting.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to do half of that, but that's my plan to at least.
In theory, it sounds great.
Do it.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
But I'm excited about the murder cookies. So
good. Yeah, me too. All right. I guess we'll wrap up this episode and then you're up next with the big number 10. And until tomorrow, remember, lock your doors.
Keep passing by those open windows.
Bye-bye.
Love ya.
Today's episode was researched and written by me, Cam. For more information about this episode, as well as all the sources I used, please check out our show notes or the podcast website at ourtruecrimepodcast.com. Our True Crime Podcast is developed and created by hosts Jen and Cam. Original music and audio mix of all our True Crime Podcast episodes is courtesy of Nico of He from We Talk of Dreams. Listener discretion is provided by Edward October from October Pod VHS. Our True Crime Podcast is executive produced by Nico of He and Dick Vane. Make sure to like and subscribe to Our True Crime Podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. We can be reached on Instagram and Facebook at Our True Crime Podcast or on Twitter at Our True Crime Pod. You can email us at ourtruecrimepodcast@gmail.com. If you really like the show, make sure to check out our Patreon at Our True Crime Podcast. Our True Crime Podcast is an OTC production.
Oh, it's like those things where you kind of put the like a coin or something in, and then it goes either left or right, and then it hits another pin, and then it goes either left or right, and you have to guess which one's on the bottom it goes to. But
hey, doesn't
anyway.
The Price is Right? Don't they have a pachinko? Is it? Or
it's something like
Plinko?
A pachinko. Yeah,
Plinko? I don't know. Okay, put that at the end and go. Sorry,
sorry, off tact. Yeah.
So
I know what you're talking about now.
Good. I'm happy.
They go.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
Look up a picture. I was kind of
no,
like,
I did. That's what made me realize that I've seen them before at like estate sales. I mean, some of them go for a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I always like scribble and like doodle while you talk, and so like all my papers make me look like some kind of maniac or maniacal serial killer because I'm like putting sex shop, killers, put her in the freezer.
I do that too.
Yeah,
I repeat things. Yep, me
it
too.
looks good.
Now, though the government has been active in intervention to decrease the risk of suicide among vulnerable, did I say that right? Vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
No,
I can't say it. Vulnerable. Vulnerable. I can't say it slowly.
I know, right?
Vulnerable. And I hope everybody out there in that's listening is trying to say vulnerable.
On a regular day. Like, I can't talk on a regular day. What am I trying to do here? In Japan, you know what it is? I'm trying to talk without moving my mouth a lot because if that sore hits my teeth, then it's like, it hurts. And so
Camille has stress blisters in her mouth, so that's
I do.
Why we have these problems.
The last time I had these, well, minus
the STIs. Okay.
Okay. I never mind. Whatever. Stress. I get mouth sores when I'm stressed out. So whatever. Here we go.
Aokigahara.
Oh, no. Say that again. Do it again.
Aokigahara.
Okingahara. Okingahara.
Maybe Nico can I'll just talk, and when that word comes up, just put your thing
I just say Akinahara, the or otherwise known as Suicide Forest. I can't even say what I was. Omnibus.
Ominous.
Ominous. Thank you. What the hell?
Told you we can't talk.
I've got the dumb today. I'm sorry. Well, most days I do it. I know most days, but today it's quite oppressive.
It's gonna have lots of bloopers on this one. Sorry, Nico.